Hello again and welcome back to another one. And today we have a couple of topics to cover, and we got an update on a story we covered a few days ago when Vlad revealed his dream interview on the Bootleg Kev podcast, where he made comparisons to how Eminem and him are both the same age and they are both white, and so it will be a hell of an interview, one that Vlad described that will be the biggest thing that Eminem had ever done when it comes to interviews. Of course, back then this sparked a roasting session as many users turned on Vlad and put him on blast for suggesting that it would be the biggest thing Eminem ever done when it comes to interviews. And perhaps Vlad saw the reception and decided to up the ante, as he decided to build on this take on his dream to interview Eminem, and he took it to the point that some believe this is pretty much an insult at this point, and we'll expand on this in a moment. And today we also have more from Jelly Roll, who appeared on the death of Slim Shady that dropped in 2024, and he was recently on the Pivot podcast and he was asked about what it was like working with Eminem, and this was how it went. Check out a snippet.
What he knows now, because I got to tell him this in person, but I'm glad to tell the world too, is that his story inspired me from the beginning. Like, I related to him in my soul, like a trailer park kid from Detroit that's trying to find his way out through hip hop. It immediately sat on me as a kid who grew up in and out of apartments and trailer parks his whole life. And then he has a kid named Haley, and then later in life I have a kid named Bailey, and I didn't name Bailey. I was in jail. I didn't get a vote. You know what I'm saying? She didn't care about my thought in that situation. I love her name, but I had nothing to do with it. You know, so it's like you start going, man, this is crazy. My mother is obviously, I didn't have as dramatic. I mean, what he went through with his mother was crazy, but we all seen it publicly. But I definitely had a mother who struggled in my childhood. She's great now, but she definitely struggled. So I just related to all these elements anyways. Like, he was my voice. I seen a meme one time that I think summed it up so good. They said, Eminem raised me through my childhood. Jelly Roll's getting me through my adulthood.
That's deep.
And I was like, that's deep, right? I was like, man, that makes sense, because that's how I feel. And I think that's how Marshall felt. So when he seen it, I think he was instantly connected with it, because when we got to hang, man, he just immediately poured into me. Like, hey, man, I love you. I went through this with this. He told me all about his struggles, how many times it took him to get clean. Like, he was so vulnerable. It was the same dude from the music. Like, when you hear that vulnerability in the music and then you meet him and you're like, this dude is pouring his soul into me in this video set right now. Man, that dude, he had changed my life before I met him. Now, for him to turn around and put me on a record that ends up being a platinum record He changed my life twice. He's one of the few cases, I've met a few heroes that let me down, and that's just part of it. I've had idols become rivals. I couldn't believe that ended up being a real thing, but it's true. He was the polar opposite. It was like, awesome. Don't meet your hero unless it's Eminem.
And this sparked reactions like, don't meet your heroes unless it is Eminem. That's a massive freaking compliment, man. And at this point, due to how Eminem keeps to himself, he is pretty much the Loch Ness Monster at this point that turns out to have only positive reviews from the very few people who got the opportunity to see one. And I'll be looking forward to your thoughts in the comments. And moving on to the next point, DJ Vlad is back, and he looks hell-bent on securing that Eminem interview that he spoke about on the Bootleg Kev podcast, as he recently made an appearance on Cameron's Talk with Flea podcast, and this time he decided to, quote, sweeten the deal for Eminem as he revealed what he's willing to pay to make that interview a reality. Check it out.
Either throwback or now. Like, who's like your dream interview?
I mean, I think if me and Eminem sat down, considering how we're the same age, both hip-hop kids, both white, I don't think he's ever done a real serious type of interview before. He's done some pieces here and there, but if me and him sat down, I think it'd be the biggest thing he's ever done media-wise.
That'll be really good. Eminem, he's another nigga. He don't do much. He don't do much.
Yeah,
so if you get him out the house, it was like even when I seen the nigga come out with Terrence Crawford, I'm like, Terrence Crawford better beat the shit out this nigga, because Eminem don't come outside. So yeah. I think that'll be really, really good. And good.
I was hanging on from that Eminem question. Would you pay Eminem $100,000 for an interview?
Yeah, I give Eminem $100,000 if I got a real okay, like no time limit, we could sit for 2-3 hours and I could just, you know, nothing's really off limits, then yeah, absolutely. I mean, because think about it, he's never, remember when those racist tapes came out and everything else like that? He's never spoken about that.
Right.
Imagine having that type of conversation.
Right.
And boy, I don't know if he was trolling or he was being serious when he offered $100,000 for a no time limit and nothing's off limits interview, and this sparked reactions accordingly, as Vlad was once again put on blast. There's loser really thinks Eminem would ever give him the time of day after all the clickbait bullcrap he pulls and questions he asks people in interviews to clearly trap them into saying something negative about Eminem? Please keep dreaming. And this user added, Eminem turns down multi-million-dollar tours and brand deals he's not getting out of his bed for $100,000, especially not for this clickbaiting culture vulture. And perhaps Vlad thinks he's the first person to offer some money. And another user expanded on this note. Eminem turned down Aiden Ross, who offered him $1 million. Eminem turned down $8 million to perform in the World Cup Qatar final in 2022. Eminem turned down $100 million world tour with 50 Cent and Snoop to raise his daughter. It is not about the money, it is what feels right to him. And for those who don't know, 50 Cent revealed this back in early 2023. And check it out from People's Report on this. Quote, because of the Super Bowl, I got an inquiry about the World Cup and they had a budget of $9 million, said 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, recalling his appearance at the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show with Eminem, Dr. Dre, MJB, Kendrick Lamar, and Anderson .Paak. I would have taken $1 million, and then the other $8 million would have been for him. He then had a conversation with Eminem's team about the idea. They're like, he's not gonna do it, recalled 50 Cent. If you would do a one-off show, maybe you would do the biggest live sporting event in the world. And back to users on social media roasting Vlad. Another user expanded. Vlad is a narcissist. He truly believes he can pull an interview off. Laughing emoji. And on a side note, some fans are lamenting with takes like, being an Eminem stan is rough. It has been almost a year with no word from him. Our favorite rapper hates us, guys. Crying face emoji. And if you recall, the leaks from January has probably made this worse when even his rep was describing it as irreversible damage to his legacy, among other things. And many users are puzzled by the fact that he believes $100,000 is something. 100,000? 5 million wouldn't get Eminem to appear on a DJ Vlad show. Keep dreaming, sucker. And for those who missed it, we covered it back in late 2023 when Aiden Ross revealed that he was willing to drop $1 million to make it happen.
The greatest rapper of all time. This is the Michael Jordan of rap. Sorry, chat. Rap nowadays is a joke. Like, you think these new rappers are studying dictionaries? Some used to read a dictionary every day. Like, every day. He would study this game, bro. He broke the game. They canceled Eminem. He got real life canceled. There was no social media. He got real life canceled and blackballed from everything. He was dissing everybody. He didn't give a fuck. What do you think he does now, chat? Like, hold on, how old is Eminem? Chat, he's 50. Do you think he'll link me, yes or no? I would pay $1 million to do an Eminem stream, I swear to God. All my life, I'd pay an M. I swear, oh God, I'd pay an M for M. Someone tell Paul Rosenberg to hit my line. Someone tell Paul Rosenberg to text David Stromberg. Look at that, Rosenberg and Stromberg. Tell them an M to get M on stream. Man, I know so much about this motherfucker. It would be the greatest interviewed stream of all time.
And that is 10 times what Vlad is offering. And in my opinion, Vlad has probably given Eminem a lot more to hate about him than Aiden Ross would have, due to some of the dastardly things that's been said about M on Vlad's platform. And better yet, the things that were said were often instigated by Vlad. And some took issue with Cameron inviting Vlad to his show with takes like, y'all black people need to take your stories elsewhere. That's an insult to the people that built this clown. Eminem can hold his own podcast and make millions, and so can a lot of y'all. So essentially, this user is telling Cameron that they need to do better, and clearly some people don't know who Eminem is after all. As when a user expanded, just to put it in perspective, Eminem got offered guaranteed $100 million to do a tour and turned it down. He ain't leaving that house for $100 million. He won't even waste a second for $100,000. It ain't even about the money for him. Either it's just if he wants to or not. And that's the key part of this. If he wants to, he will do it for free if he has to, as I doubt King Crooked paid $1 million to get him on Crook's Corner. And this is what I'm talking about. As to this, a user expanded with, who would turn down half their entire net worth? And first of all, this is because some people believe everything they read on the internet. And apart from net worth, since this is not just about money, another user fired back with someone who is financially secure, although some believe that the $100 million tour is quite different compared to an interview. Check this out. At the same time, touring is way different from sitting down and talking. All those shows in different cities, states, and countries is probably something he just didn't feel like dealing with at the time, but an interview is more simpler, but I doubt he would do it for Vlad. And more on this note, also he turned down starring in Elysium because he would have to leave Detroit, and some users took it there, what Vlad looks to be after when he says Eminem is his dream interview. As we know, Vlad wouldn't miss the opportunity to ask about this. Check it out. Eminem sitting for 2 to 3 hours and talking about those tapes. Why the F would he do that? Because they are the same age, hip-hop kids and white, laughing my bum off. He doesn't need the money. He has absolutely nothing to gain. Vlad is stupid or lost his mind, and it seems some users aren't aware of the current culture on social media where everyone is out for blood, looking for anything to cancel a celebrity. As a user hit back with, it would be interesting to actually talk about them, even though he addressed them on Yellow Brick Road. I wish Eminem does an interview with anybody, loudly crying emoji, but don't let your desperation cloud your judgment, as in 2025, nothing good is gonna come out of talking about those tapes. And the initial user expanded with, no, this kind of interview would bring hate and drama that he doesn't need, and I don't wish he does interviews with anybody. There is too many incompetent interviewers just living for clout out there. Like, think about it, the people who are hell-bent on believing that Eminem is a racist aren't gonna change their minds in 2025 if he elaborates on the tapes in 2025. In fact, they will use this as new fuel to push the narrative. So what exactly does Eminem gain from doing an interview talking about that? And we know Vlad will try to maximize the virality of the interview, and those questions would be certainly top of the list for Vlad. So Vlad would have everything to gain from bringing up those questions. And some have brought up the fact that King Crooked didn't need to offer any financial incentive for Eminem to appear on Crook's Corner. Check this out. DJ Vlad can offer Eminem 100,000 or 500,000, but he'll never get an interview the way Crook did. Vlad wants to gossip, dig up the past, get his viral gotcha moment, and just wants to talk about rap, multi-syllable rhyming, and give flowers to his favorite hip-hop legends. And over on Reddit, I saw an exchange that I found quite interesting, as some users are of the impression that Eminem going to Saudi Arabia is some gotcha moment. Check out the exchange. I freaking love Eminem, but let's be honest here, he performs at all the Saudi boxing events. And the user added, I'm just saying, it's not like he's above it. The Saudis probably offered him dumbass money to come and perform. Also not an interview, so I get that. But what this user fails to understand is Eminem is a huge fan of boxing in the first place. So that is pretty much killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Win-win for him. Now compare this to the conversation right now about Vlad, who is most likely not a fan of to begin with. And now you know that this is not even close to being the same thing. And the user expanded under that post, M is a boxing fan, and they responded, why didn't he perform at any boxing events in America or Europe then? He did last year. He also walked out Crawford 2 years ago. M also worked with UFC, let them use his music. He doesn't like soccer, so he refused to perform, even though they were gonna pay him like 5 or 6 million. Well, actually it was around 8 million, according to 50 Cent's estimates. And last I checked, the Crawford match was at the BMO Stadium in LA. So I don't know what that user was driving at or insinuating by claiming he's only choosing to appear in Saudi Arabia. And back to the point I brought up about Vlad instigating some negativity surrounding Eminem in his interviews, another user expanded. I might be misremembering, but I swear, didn't Vlad help push the whole narrative about white people not being welcome in hip-hop? He would always interview El Jamar and always come across as biased to me. Could be wrong though, and I was just projecting based on what El how Jamar said, to which a user expanded, he definitely was the one pushing the narrative. It is the typical Stan story arc, the same one we saw MGK follow, where first is admiration, and when they don't get what they want, it turns to hate. And in Vlad's case, that was a time when he realized that he was never gonna get Eminem on his couch, so he did the next best thing, which was to interview people with stories about M. And since he's always seeking a viral moment, you already know why he chose the negativity. But what are your thoughts? As some believe, I'd rather Cameron or Art of Dialogue sit with M than Vlad, to which a user expanded under Cam should give it a shot. Already had 50 on and said M is like one of the top picks of all time to make a song with, and I'll be looking forward to your thoughts in the comment section. What are the platforms that you believe will be more suitable for Eminem to appear on? We've seen examples in the past like Hot Ones or even Drink Champs, but what are your thoughts? Tell us below in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. See you on the next one.